Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality. While listening, you'll be exposed to inspiring, empowering, and unifying perspectives that I'm highly confident will yield stellar results in your life if you opt to try them on for size. Also, at optimistic.tv, we have officially begun releasing the first few episodes of our new late-night style, consciousness-elevating video variety talk show, Optimistic, which features live visionary art, soul share interviews, retreat guests here at the Mystic Manor, as well as live musical performances. I'm also super excited to announce that we are currently making plans to release the rest of Season 1 on my personal favorite online streaming service. So stay tuned to optimistic.tv to follow the unfolding development of this exciting Optimistic expansion, as we'll be posting more info and release dates there soon. And in the meantime, be sure to check out, of course, the first few episodes at optimistic.tv as well. All right, all you positive heads, welcome, welcome. It is a magical Monday here in the studio as I record. So grateful to be back with you guys as always. And today I figured I would jump back into, I think it was about a week ago, I read one of the essays by Emmet Fox. And if you guys have been listening, you've heard me talk about, now I've read two of his essays. The first one being The Golden Key, which I discovered after having a dream about the forthcoming book that I'm writing. I had a very vivid dream about a book and a unique idea to co-create and make the book an interactive experience with everyone who reads it, and I'm going to be giving it away for free. And I had this epic dream that I went and I searched for. Once I kind of started putting together what the name of the book would be, it's going to be called The Golden Key, Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance. And yeah, after this dream, I was like, okay, well, let me go check and see if that book name could be out there by chance. And I found this essay from 1931 by Emmet Fox, who, reading the description of the essay, it was very similar in a lot of ways to what it is that came through in my dream. So it was kind of a magical synchronicity. I definitely got chills when I read the description, basically saying, hey, here's what I'm suggesting. Try it. Don't believe me. Try it and see it for yourself. And that's kind of the same premise of the book that I'm writing. So I then had someone reach out to me, a listener reach out to me and tell me that I needed to check out the rest of his work. I was not familiar with Emmet Fox, and he has 22 additional essays other than The Golden Key. And when I went and looked up some of his other work, I saw it was published on my birthday on Amazon, which, if you guys have been listening, I have a lot of synchronicity with my birthday. So it's been, man, I got to tell you, with this book, it's been more synchronicity than anything I've ever experienced. The amount of it has been absolutely wild. And I won't go into a lot of it now because it'd be a very long, it just keeps stacking. So what I am going to do is, and maybe I'll share it one day. It's been really, really cool, but I'm definitely feeling inspired. And so, what I'm going to do today is what I love about these essays, they're very short. So I haven't even read them yet, other than, the first couple. So what I'm going to do is just read them out loud and discuss, my thoughts on them. And I know so far I really like what I've read. So I could read something that I maybe don't like. Who knows? And then we'll talk about it. But I'm pretty sure it'll be good. There'll be some nuggets of wisdom in there for sure. And these ones coming up are particularly short, so I might read a couple of them. And then, we'll talk about them. So this is one of the 23, essays total from Emmet Fox, written back in like 1931-ish. And you can go back and hear the first few in recent episodes. This one's called Different People See Different Worlds. What we experience is our own concept of things. That is why no two people see quite the same world. and why, in many cases, different people see such different worlds. To put it in another way, we make our own world by the way in which we think, for we really do live in a world of our own thoughts. It follows from this that if our thinking is faulty, our conditions must be faulty too until our thinking is corrected. And that it is useless to try to improve outer things if we leave our own mentality unchanged. Let us suppose, for the sake of example, that a deaf man goes to Carnegie Hall to a Chrysler recital, and that he happens to be a very foolish person. He sits in the middle of the orchestra, and of course, he does not hear a sound. He is annoyed at this and changes his ticket for a seat in the first balcony. Here, naturally, he fares no better, and foolishly thinking that the acoustics of the building are at fault, moves again to the top balcony. Still, he cannot hear a sound, so now he goes downstairs again, and this time chooses a seat in the very front of the orchestra, only a few yards from the violinist. Of course, he has no better fortune here, and so he stamps out of the theater in a huff, declaring that evidently Chrysler cannot play, and that the hall is badly designed for music. It is easy for us to see that the trouble is really within himself, and that he cannot remedy matters by merely changing his seat. The only thing for him to do is overcome his deafness in some way, and then he will enjoy the concert. He must change himself. This parable applies literally to all the problems of life. We see inharmony because of a spiritual lack within ourselves. As we gain greater spiritual understanding, the true nature of being opens up. As long as we move from one place to another in search of harmony, or try to bring it about by changing outer things, we're like the foolish man who could not hear Chrysler and ran about all over the theater. Wow, that was okay. Really short one. Really good example, though. Knowing that everyone is seeing things through a different lens. And, I think if you can get to the point where you stop worrying about, what someone else, how they're seeing the world, and you allow them to just see things the way they see them, and your only concern, we spend so much energy concerned about how someone else sees things and what they should be doing or how they should show up and should be behaving. And when you understand and can just understand that everyone is doing the best that they can from their vantage point, this person in this example, he was doing the best that he can from his vantage point. If he goes and gives a negative review on the concert, it's like, what good is it going to do to get mad? From his understanding, he was acting rationally, right? So I think that's the first part of this, is understanding and letting people have their own vantage point. The only thing that really makes sense for us to do is to start focusing our precious energy on shifting our own vantage point to achieve the results we want to see in the world, for the world to be a reflection that we want to live in, for our living circumstances, our relationships, our working, situation. If we want all of those things to be optimal, the most important thing you can do is to change your inner view. You can't, praying for a storm to pass is not nearly as valuable as learning how to weather the storm and stay calm in the storm and changing your inner state. Everything points back to this. And obviously, Emmet Fox got that back in 1931. Ooh, okay, this next one. This one, you guys hear me talk about destiny and free will. And I have a very strong idea about how our life plays out at the corner of free will and destiny. So this is interesting to see this one. Haven't read this yet. Free will or fate? Let's see what he has to say. The capriciousness of destiny was a favorite subject with the old-fashioned novelists. In their 3-volume world, people's lives were at the mercy of trifling accidents from day to day. A person's whole life was spoilt because one letter was stolen or went astray. The hero rose from obscurity to wealth and fame through meeting a casual stranger in a railroad car, or through saving someone from drowning at the seashore. One false step ruined an otherwise promising career. One turn of fortune's wheel solved all problems for someone else. All this is nonsense. We are not at the mercy of accidents, for there are no accidents, and trifles have only trifling effects. In the long run, you demonstrate your character, and you cannot ultimately miss the mark for which you are fitted because of any outer accident. A particular incident may give you a temporary advantage or cause you passing grief or inconvenience, but it does not change your life story. An energetic and enterprising man who attends to his business will make a success of his life, whether he meets a helpful stranger in a railroad car or not, and whether a particular letter concerning him is lost or not. The miscarriage of a letter may deprive him of a particular position. Meeting with a helpful and influential stranger may bring his success a little sooner. But if he has the qualities demanded for success, he will succeed in any case. And if he lacks those qualities, no help from the outside can make him successful. No nation is destroyed by the loss of one battle. When a nation is weak in natural resources and divided within itself, it cannot stand. But is this structural weakness that brings about its fall? If it were united, well-organized, and armed, it could lose the battle and still win the war. Your own character makes or breaks you. This is true of the individual, of a nation, of a party, of a church, or of any institution. If you seem to yourself to be lacking in certain necessary qualities, if your character seems to lack strength, ask God to give you what you need, and He will. You can build any quality into your mentality by meditating upon that quality every day. Oh, okay. Very short too, and I like it. I like the end of it. You may lack something, but you also, or apparently lack something, at least in a given moment, but you have access to all the things, all the tools in the toolbox of Source, because you are one with Source. So if you meditate upon it, like he said, you can call it in. And, talking about this, is it fated, one way or another? Here's the thing. Source can provide infinite opportunities for something to transpire. He's right in the fact, Emmet's right here in saying, like, look, if it's in your character and you're working hard and you're doing all the things, the success is inevitable, whether you miss an opportunity or not. Source can provide you infinite opportunities. It's Source is infinite. It has so much at its disposal. It's so eternally creative too. Right? So many people get lost in this story, this idea that, I missed my chance. I had a chance to make it. I could have made it, I could have made it if I just played those cards right 15 years ago. And now I'm too old or too this or too that. It's like there is never, ever, ever a lack of opportunity that can come to your way, a new opportunity that can come to your way. And it's just, if unless you're telling a story that it's otherwise, in which case, abracadabra, which means I create as I speak, you are doing it. You are creating the lack of opportunity with your beliefs and your perspective. Like Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. So to me, that brings great, relief. I've screwed up many times, many times, and gotten something in retrospect, looking back and being like, I wish I'd have done it different. And then I add to that, and that's okay. I learn from it. And the good news is there's unlimited potential ahead of me if I'm focused on the things he's talking about. I am really focusing on building my character and becoming the best person that I can, and tending to my business, and whether that's work or relationship or whatever, and tending my garden with integrity and with care and with love and all of those things. If you're tending your garden wherever it is, and whether it's a garden that's 80 years old or 8 years old, right? There is potential and opportunity that will reflect the nature of the garden, right? It's going to reflect you, and it never runs out. And I find that so reassuring to know I can screw up 25 more times, on something big. And then the 26th time, it's like the Chinese proverb, fall down 7 times, stand up 8. Same kind of thing. You are right on time, my friend, right where you're supposed to be. Drop that old story of why not, and it's too late, and I shoulda, coulda, woulda, any of that. Like, that's just looking through a lens that just doesn't serve you. You are always fated to create more opportunity for yourself one way or another, or lack thereof, right? So get on with doing it and shifting and elevating your perspective around that topic. Okay, so one more here. It's very short, shorter than the other two. Mind your own business. One of the first rules on the spiritual path is that you must attend strictly to your own business and not interfere with that of others. Your neighbor's life is sacred, and you have no right to try to manage it for him. Let him alone. God has given him free will and self-determination, so why should you interfere? Many well-being people are constantly butting in to their neighbors' lives without invitation. They pretend to themselves that their only desire is to help, but this is self-deception. Is it really a desire to interfere? Interference always does more harm than good. Actually, those who mind other people's business always neglect their own. The man who wants to put your house in order has always made a failure of his own life. MYOB, of course. This does not mean that you are not to help people whenever you can. In fact, you should make it a rule to try to do at least one kind act every day. But you must do it without interfering or encroaching. When in doubt, claim divine guidance. It is always right to give your neighbor the right thought. Under any circumstances, it can only do good to golden key him when you think of him. Don't fuss. God is running the universe. I like that. To golden key. That's where you're sending, asking God essentially to help that person. And you know what's funny about this? I just had this conversation with someone. Someone like a couple hours ago. Like, look, we were talking about a person who was, tied up with someone or interacting with someone who was really, on a destructive path. And I was saying to the person, like, look, I know you love and care about this person, but you're not doing them any good trying to, making their problem your problem. Like, you're not here to save anyone. It's always good, and what I said to him is the same thing. It's always good to give them the right thought, right perspective. Share some wisdom if you got it for them. But then, if they're continuing on their path, trying to force your will on someone. I mean, how many parents or husbands and wives get into this thing of trying to force what they think someone's supposed to show up as on them, right? Allow people to have their own karmic process. It is... I've said this before, and someone I think had said it on the show a while back, or I forget exactly where I heard it, but whose karma might you be getting in the way of by butting in and imposing your will on their path? Do what you can, offer wisdom if you got it, and then allow them their process. And I know that can be particularly challenging when we really love and care about someone, especially those really close to us. It can be so destructive, though, just constantly trying to force your will on a, child or partner or whatever, pushes people away a lot of times. And it just, you're getting in the way of their process. So I believe, minding your own business, and nothing is truly personal. People are acting rationally based off of their view of things. You don't need to take it personal and make it your business to shift how they're going to approach their life. All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed these essays by Emmet Fox. I know I did. I do have a song to leave you guys with today. It is by Ayla Nerio, who I actually played a bunch on the show, but pretty recently, a few weeks ago. And here's another track by Ayla called Dawn to Flight. Till next time. Hope you fly high and journey well. Love you all so much. Also, before we cue up today's song, I wanted to remind you about the game with the universe on our website, where you can choose the first number that comes to your mind and it'll pull up that episode number of the podcast. I've been saying this is a great way to co-create synchronicity and magic with your higher self for quite some time. And if you go to positivehead.com/universe, there is a super fun and simple interface to play this game with your higher self. I firmly believe just by setting the intention to play in this way, it opens up the door for magic, and it's a synchronistic way to hone in on nuggets of wisdom out of the huge catalog of episodes that are specifically appropriate for you at this time in your journey to becoming the next greatest and greatest version of yourself. And it also makes for a super fun way to spark the curiosity of friends and family by having them choose a number, so they'll hopefully go and check out their number as well, which I greatly appreciate because it helps us to spread the word about the podcast. Once again, the address is positivehead.com/universe. And as a quick reminder, if you're curious to learn more about Purium superfoods and why I take them almost every day, be sure to also check out positivehead.com/transformation. On this journey of becoming the next greatest and grandest version of ourselves that we have all embarked upon, I cannot stress the importance of managing your physical vibration enough. And quite honestly, Purium has put together the simplest plan I've found to do so. I have my favorite, the appleberry shake, at least 5 times a week. Once again, to learn more about the Purium transformation, go to positivehead.com/transformation. Or if you want to keep it simple and just try out my favorite, the appleberry shake, you can go straight over to ishoppurium.com and be sure to use code positivehead for 25% off. I'll spell that for you. It's ishoppurium.com. And be sure to use your Positive Head 25% coupon code.